Hello, I've been asked by some of my subscribers how I am making my weather blanket. So I thought that I would do a little video just to show you different parts of the weather blanket. Now the part that we're going to look at today is this square right here, and that's the beginning square. So instead of using black, because black is very difficult to see, especially when you're picking up stitches, we're going to go with this blue as our border color. And then, and then we're going to use this green and this lavender. I don't know how this is going to wind up looking today, but who knows. This is my trial to my weather blanket, my temperature blanket. I had done this last summer just to see if I liked the way this looked, and I did. So that's why I'm making mine the way it is. So again, we're going to start with this square right here. Now, the first thing you're going to do is find a crochet hook that is either the same size as your knitting needles or maybe even just a smidge larger. So my knitting needle is a size 5, and I think it's a 3.75 millimeter, and my crochet hook is a 4 millimeter. So it's just a little bit bigger, and that's perfect. So the first thing you're going to do, and I hope this is not too close, I'm just trying to get it so my stand isn't in the way. So the first thing you're going to do is find the end of your yarn, and you go on. Sorry, I should have prepared this ahead of time, and I didn't. All right, so the first thing you're going to do is create a slip stitch. And I just do mine like this. Okay, so there's my slip stitch. Now, instead of casting on, long tail cast on or whatever, I don't do that. When I want to have something that has the V's show so that you can pick them up easily later, I use this cast on. And what I do is I have my yarn go around my needle, and I just single crochet. Not single crochet even, it's more like a chain stitch around a knitting needle. So, oh, that didn't work. Sorry, this is, it's real interesting doing this with a camera in front of you. So, all right, so what I do here is I am going to add on 40 stitches, and then I will come back to you when I'm ready to do the 41st. Okay, I have put on 35 stitches, so let's go over the last few. So in order to do this, what I do is I wrap the yarn around my needle, and then I just do a chain stitch on this side of the needle. Then do that again. That was 36. This is 37, 38, 39, 40. Now, to do the temperature blanket the way I do it, you will always use an odd number. My number that I use is 41, so that gives me 20 stitches on each side of the center stitch. So so I need to do one more stitch. So instead of going around and doing it again, I have a stitch, right here on my crochet hook. So I'm just going to put that on my needle. So that is our 41 stitches. Now, whenever I start a row, and this is just how I do it. Some people do their end of the row, they'll slip a stitch, but I am just always in the habit of doing the first stitch in a row. So I slip it as if to purl. Let's see. Okay, sorry. I was having trouble seeing through the camera. All right, so slip it as if to purl, put the yarn in the back, then knit across until you get 20 stitches on this right needle. Or in your case, if you are doing, say, a total of 25 stitches, then yours would be 12 stitches on each side of your center stitch. So I'm going to do 20 stitches, and hopefully you don't get bored watching me knit. 3, 4, 20. So one of the tricks in order to get this center stitch to pop up like this is on your wrong side row, instead of purling that V from the other side, what you're going to do is you're going to slip it as if to purl with the yarn in front. So here's your yarn, you're going to move it in front and slip. Then you're going to slip it to the back and continue knitting that row. And I usually, every now and again, I'll just count to make sure that my stitches, I have the same number of stitches on each side at this point. Okay, I am not going to torture you and make you watch me knit to the end of this row. So I'll come back in just a second. Okay, I'm at the last 2 stitches on this row. So I'm going to knit them. And this is all you need of this blue for now. So we can go ahead and cut this. And I'll talk about weaving in the ends later. It is not a good idea to weave in your ends too early, because sometimes that messes up your edge that you're picking up. So we're going to say that our high today on our scale of numbers is this green yarn. So I'm sure that you all know the way that I'm doing mine is high and low for the day, because our weather in California changes so drastically during the day. So I have a scale that's every 10 degrees, and so today we're going to say that the high for the day equals this green yarn. All right, so let me find the end of my needle. Sorry about bumping the camera there. And so I'm going to do the same thing where I slip as if to purl and pull my yarn to the back. I didn't leave myself enough yarn there. That's not good. Yeah, that's an awfully short little thing there. Anyway, so we are going to start up with our green yarn. So so that's 2. We're going to knit, so we have 19 stitches over here. So we'll slip 1, knit 18. So 1, 2, 3, I hope you can see this, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try and do some editing tricks and speed up the areas where I'm knitting so you don't have to watch every single stitch, because that's Okay, so let's go back and count. We have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18, and 19. All right, at this point, we're going to do a double decrease. And this will also help to have our V's here be prominent. So the way that you do a double decrease is you have, this is your V stitch. It's not showing as much right now, but it will later on. So you are going to take the V stitch and the stitch right in front of it and slip them as if to knit. Then you're going to knit the next stitch and pass both of these stitches over. Okay, and that gives you a nice V. All right, so I'm just going to knit to the end of the row, turn around. I will stop when I'm about to do the slip stitch in the back again and show you that, okay? Okay, oh, sorry. We have one more stitch, and the way that you can tell, if you don't feel like counting, see how this is like extra thick here with those 2 slip stitches, and then you can also peek to the front and see where your V stitch is. So when you get to that stitch, you're going to slip it as if to purl and knit to the end of your row. And when we come back, I will show you how to add the second color. All right, we're at the end of the row. And so the color, the low color from the day is going to correspond with this lavender color. Sorry, I have a lot of trouble with talking some days. So here's our lavender color that we're going to use with this. And I will put at the end of this, at the end of this part 1, I'll put the information for the person who has the website to that has the weather blanket information as far as how to do sides and stuff like that. She also has a way of doing a weather blanket, temperature blanket, but she does it differently than I do because she slips her last stitch and I do not. Okay, so let's, sorry, forgot what I was doing there. Slip that as if to purl, pull that a little bit, put it to the back, and then we're going to add our lavender. Boy, these are loose. I don't like how loose they are because I didn't leave myself enough of a tail. All right, so here's our lavender, and we're going to knit. Just start knitting, and we will weave in that in later. And so I'll just knit till I get to the center and show you the double decrease again. And I didn't show you when I turned, but you always, well, I always slip my first stitch on the row as if to purl and then put my yarn in the back. So I just want to make sure you remember that for the back side. This is the right side of your work. So as you're knitting along, when you see, where'd it go? The V, which is right there. I'm having trouble seeing this one for some reason. All right, when you see the V, you count to the stitch before it, slip that stitch and the V as if to knit, knit the next stitch, and pass these 2 over. Okay. Then knit to the end of the row. Okay, I'll start start you up again on the other row. Okay, starting the return row. Wow, am I getting crooked here? Sorry. Starting the return row, you slip as if to purl. And this is not usually this loose. It's because I have to hold it weird. All right. Then we're going to knit over to that center stitch. And like I said, you don't have to count. It does help every now and again if you just count and make sure that you have the same number of stitches on each side of the center stitch. But you don't really need to count every single row unless you just really want to. Okay, so the way that I can tell if my stitch is coming up, I need to slip. It's like, okay, it's down there. I don't know if you saw that. There's my stitch I need to slip. And I've got 4 more stitches to knit till I get there. And like I said, it's easy. You just kind of take a quick look. You can see it. And then you slip it as if to purl with your yarn in front. Then you put your yarn in back and finish your row. Okay, I'm going to show you one more color change, and then I'm going to go sit in my comfy chair and finish up this square up till I have like 7 or 5 stitches left in the row. Okay, just a little bit more. Sing to yourself while I'm doing this. You do not want me to sing to you. Okay, that's just a mess right there. All right. It's usually the first rows that you change the color, that the stitches will get all crazy like that. But, all right. So we're going to switch back. So for this whole square, we're going to switch back and forth between the high temperature and the low temperature. So it's time to switch back to the high temperature. And that's our green. Well, it's kind of a teal. I hope I have had my hands where you can see them this whole time. I've been doing my best. Oops. Okay. All right, so slip as if to purl. Put your yarn in the back. Now to change to your green, you're going to pull your green from below, and I always pull from the right side. I don't know why, I just do. So I pull it over from the right, and yes, I'm not knitting continental right now. Okay. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to go finish knitting this up till we are almost done with it. Bye. All right, we're down to 9 stitches, so I will just show you how to finish this up. If you get bored, just fast forward ahead a little bit. This isn't going to take too long. So again, with the first stitch in the row, oh, sorry about that, I really let that go. You slip as if to purl and put the yarn in the back, then bring up the new color, and knit 1, 2, oh, so okay, so we have a total of 3. I was like, where's my other one? So to do the double decrease again, here's your center stitch. So the center stitch and the one before it, you slip, okay, slip as if to knit, knit the next stitch, pass the slip stitches over, and that gives you, it gives you a center double decrease. This is not right. I'm sorry, but we got to get this right. Right? Nope. Still not right. What is the problem? I think it's an operator error. There we go. Okay. All right, and then you do the last 3 stitches of that row. 1, 2, 3. And then if you look on your edge, you can see that by slipping that first stitch purlwise, you have a nice, easy bunch of V's to pick up from, which will come in very handy later. Okay, so this is the wrong side. We're going to slip as if to purl, knit 2, bring the yarn forward and slip as if to purl, put the yarn in the back, knit 3. Okay, so I'm getting close to the end here. All right, on this next row, my yarn and my needles are so tangled right now, but we're so close to being done. So we're going to slip as if to purl, put the stitch in the back, put the yarn in the back, I'm sorry. Okay, we're going to knit 1 with our new color. Then we're ready to take our center stitch and the one before it, slip as if to knit, knit the next stitch, pass the slip stitches over for a double decrease, and knit 2. Okay, so we're going to turn this around. Let me move these out of your way so you can kind of see this a little bit better. All right, so we're down to 5 stitches. So we're going to slip as if to purl, put the yarn in the back, knit 1, knit 1, bring the yarn forward, slip as if to purl, bring the yarn back, knit the last 2. Okay, so we have 5 stitches. What's going to happen here is that we're going to slip this first one as if to purl, then we're going to do the double decrease and knit the final stitch, and that will give us 3. So we slip as if to purl, put our yarn in the back, and they do get really twisty like this, see? So all right, so we're going to just go ahead. We've already slipped, so we're going to just go ahead and slip these 2 as if to knit, then knit this stitch with the new color, pass the slip stitch over, oops, sorry, and knit the last stitch. All right, so we're on our final 2 rows. So on this one, you slip as if to purl, slip your center stitch, put your yarn in the back, and knit the final stitch. I have got a big mess going here, so that's why I'm having trouble. All right, so knit the final stitch. You turn it around, you have 3 left. You can change color or you can keep the same color. At this point, it really doesn't matter because you just have 1 more stitch to knit. So what I do, and this is just a little quirk of mine, is that I go ahead here and take this stitch and put the yarn in the back. Then I put the stitch back on the left needle. Okay. Then I do my slip as if to knit with these 2. Then knit the final stitch. Pass these 2 over. And that's it. You just pull this up, snip that yarn, and you're done. You can, what I normally do is I pull another loop. So I will, let me go down here a little bit and snip this. And so I have my loop here, and I just pull it like this. And we are done with our first square. So the next, not really an episode, but part 2 will be adding this square. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, sorry. Adding this square down here and this side piece right here. So that's part 2. Thank you for joining me today. This this is inspired, none of this is my design. It is inspired by, I think it's Ladybug Laboratories, inspiring the black around and the black in between. And then this, the 2 color mitered square, is inspired by the Hue Shift blanket from Knit Picks. Okay,